Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today and for standing up as responsible firearms owners who care about your rights, your freedoms, and importantly, your communities. As Steve said, I am the lead candidate for the upper house for the Libertarian Party, and I'm proud to be representing the Libertarians here today to share why we stand firmly with responsible firearms owners and why your rights matter to us. First, let me explain what being a libertarian means. At its core, libertarianism is maximising personal freedom and minimising government interference. I'll say that again. Maximising personal freedoms and minimising government interference. A libertarian believes in your right to make decisions about your life, your property, how you protect yourself and your loved ones. We champion responsibility, respect for individual rights, and a government that knows its limits. The philosophy naturally shapes our approach to firearms policies. We know that responsible gun ownership is not just about hunting or sport. It's about property rights, personal responsibility, and and individual freedoms. The Libertarian Party has a long and consistent record of supporting responsible gun owners. We were formerly known as the Liberal Democrats, and as the major parties are prone to do, they like to keep the competition at bay. So we were forced a name change, which we have embraced, and it truly does define those core principles that we stand for. Like I said, we've had a long and consistent record of supporting responsible gun owners. Here in Western Australia, we have a high level of firearms owners among our members, and that's no coincidence. Our principles naturally align with your desire to be treated fairly and respectfully by the government. We've also had strong voices in the past at a federal level. Some of you may remember Senator David Lionhelm. He was a fierce advocate for the rights of responsible gun owners. Since leaving Parliament, he consistently writes articles. He's written a book relating to firearms and firearms history and owners, and often attending events like this. That same spirit continues with our state and national policy. So I invite you all to look. Obviously, we've got the overlap of the state campaign. That's my focus at the moment, but we've recently released our federal policies. So this is not just WA specific. I'd like to reiterate that the Libertarians stand on principle. Our 2025 campaign platform is clear. We stand for less red tape, protecting privacy and property rights, reducing government waste, and ensuring that government resources are directed where they deliver real value. So reading that there, every part of that directly reflects the fight we have on our hands against this 2024 firearms legislation. I'd like to read directly from our platform, the 6 pillars of freedom, unlocking WA's potential. And it's important to read directly because it's there. It's very easy to come and tell you exactly what you want to hear and then go off to the next event and tell that group what they want to hear. But that's, I'm just reiterating that these are stated explicitly and clearly for everybody to read. And I invite you to do that when you get home. So here's an extract from part of those pillars. And this is the pillar of privacy and property rights. And it reads, protecting individual freedoms is at the heart of our vision. We will repeal coercive legislation. Undo laws that violate personal freedoms, such as coerced vaccinations, lockdowns and other pandemic-era measures, and address impractical and overbearing regulations, such as on firearms and freedom of movement, acknowledging that these may just be the start of an alarming trend. We know that politics can be divisive, but we take a cooperative approach. And again, supporting those 6 pillars there we've got online is our frequently asked questions, which directly and enhances and more in more detail expands on some of those points of our 6 pillars. But getting back politics can be divisive, and part of my response in those frequently asked questions is stating that we will take a cooperative approach. The Libertarian Party is prepared to work with the other parties and independents to deliver meaningful outcome for both firearms owners and property owners. Because, let's not forget that this is a property rights issue as much as it is firearms. We don't just talk about change, we will work to make it happen. And I feel that seeing such a great turnout, I think it's important to speak to and acknowledge the frustration that many of you feel about the lack of genuine consultation with the community. I know Steve referenced that. Responsible gun owners like yourselves have the right to be heard and respected, not sidelined by bureaucratic decisions and made without meaningful dialogue. One question we often hear is, what does the Libertarian Party stand for regarding the Firearms Act 2024? And I'll read directly from that extract. Our answer is straightforward. This law infringes on your property rights and freedoms. We will fight to block it and repeal it, and to ensure that any new legislation respects and protects your rights. Your ability to lawfully own and use firearms matters to us, and we will continue to advocate on your behalf.
Yes.
Listening to Steve mention the small children here, we are obviously, and what's in front of us is obviously we're talking about your rights as current firearms owners, but importantly, we have an obligation to defend the rights of those that are coming behind us, my children and your children. So it's not just about us. We have a responsibility to secure and fight for the rights of those that of our future generations. Like I said, it would be easy for me to stand here and simply tell you what you wanted to hear, but that's not who we are. The Libertarian Party's principled approach is clear. We are here to protect freedoms and lessen government interference in your life. The principled stance naturally aligns with responsible firearms users. We don't support arbitrary restrictions or heavy-handed regulations. We support common sense and personal responsibility. So to all of you here today, thank you for standing up for your rights. Your voices matter, and never forget that. Your voices matter. And your commitment to responsible firearms ownership sets an example for all West Australians. And like Steve, and thank you, like Steve mentioned, our party is set up over here. Please feel free to come over and talk firearms with us. Amongst our members, there are many firearms users, and they're very passionate about the subject. But while you're here, like I said, the principles we stand for apply to many of those other areas of your life that we have perhaps past generations taken for granted. And Louise did mention the fractured nature of the special interest groups. And I hope what I've been able to convey is that the principles that we stand for, and the ones that internally within the party will be held account for, meet and champion for those special interest groups, the four-wheel drivers, the fishing, property rights, water rights, and of course, the responsible use of firearms. And importantly, protection of our environment, which this community is at the forefront of, and I think that's been underestimated or appreciated. That this group, this active community, has a big part to play in protecting our environment. So if you believe in freedom, fairness, and government that respects its people, then I invite you to join us and support the Libertarian Party in this state election. Louise spoke very well about the need to engage in the upper house vote. I think there will be a natural swing away from the major parties, but it's important to capture that and understand the voting system in the upper house. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, there is plenty of information, and particularly we'll be, like many of the others, trying to inform the public better on how to make your vote count. because together we can push back against government overreach and ensure that your rights are respected. So thank you.